Let's pivot now to talk things cricket, because tonight is the start of the Test series between the West Indies and Australia. 9:30 our time from Barbados is the first Test. Adam Collins, Bud Sundaresh and Bryce McGain, Andrew Mason will be there for every ball live and free. And also Adam White, one of the great resurrections of the world. A bloke who was dumped by a previous radio station, came in as Mr. Fill-In. Now he's travelling the world as a cricket commentator with the network.
Good on him. We're the kings of second chances here. But our next guest, though, is possibly the guy that you miss the most, isn't it? Out of all the people that have rotated through these doors that couldn't work with you, this is the one you miss the most, isn't it?
It is. Gilly, good morning to you. Excited about the cricket?
I love that one. Good morning, lads. The place of second chances. Last chance saloon, is it?
Yep.
That's the end, you reckon?
That's us.
But I tell you what, nice to see Whitey's got another gig. And if you're going to be travelling the world for cricket, there's one venue you do want to be at, and that is Kensington Oval, Barbados. You can take in some cricket there, and then, of course, you've got all the delights of the island of Barbados around you. What a spot to tour that is. What a remarkable... Good memories, fond memories whenever the Aussie team are back in the West Indies. And tell you what, it's been a little while since the boys have had white clothes on over in the West Indies, so it'll be interesting to watch.
Very much so. Look, I saw a Cricket Australia interview with Nathan Lyon, and he was basically making a comment that it's been a very hard team to scout the West Indies because there's just a lot of new names. He keeps, I don't know him, I don't know him, I don't know what he does. I'm sure they know them, but they don't know their strengths and weaknesses. Would that be a fair assessment? It could be a bit of a left field type of first test for the Australians.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what caught them out last time they met up in Australia at the Gabba. Shamar Joseph, they didn't really know a hell of a lot about, and he ripped through them in that final day to secure quite a famous win for the West Indies. So, yeah, I read Pat Cummins' comments too just recently, overnight, or when I woke up this morning, saying the same thing. There's only probably 4 or 5 players still around from that squad in the West Indies team from the previous time that they met up. So that can be a bit of a challenge, and they don't play huge amounts of Test cricket anyway, the West Indies. So that's the beauty of Test cricket, trying to work it out on the move. A new player comes out, you might have some grainy YouTube footage of him that the analysts have scoured, but it's all different once you're in the Test arena anyway and playing them live. So I think Pat's outstanding at sort of being nimble and trying a few different things. I think he's got a nice artillery of bowlers that he can turn to. They get going with just the one frontline spinner in Nathan Lyon. They're going to back the 3 quicks, and obviously I think that the versatility of Bo Webster adds that nice variety where he can bowl his little seam ups or he can bowl his off spin in sport with Travis Head, who can send a few down. So well-rounded team on a pitch that they don't seem to know what it's going to do. My memories of Barbados, it was flat as a tack. It was hard work to get wickets and not quite such a grind to get runs, but a great place to play.
Talking cricket with Adam Gilchrist. It all starts tonight. Can hear all the action from 9:30. And just a reminder too, we've got the Ashes. We had the Test Championship. This is a pretty big series, this one.
And the cheque and the trophy for the Swank Viral Trophy.
Oh, poor BJ. BJ.
Just keeps giving. Just keeps giving.
Yeah.
It's his worst nightmare, BJ, when the Test series in the Caribbean comes up again. He might as well go on holiday somewhere without internet service and just hide. But it's going to get played so often. And it's not just what actually came out of his mouth. The fact that the look on his face, he absolutely bamboozled himself. And it's the uncoolest thing that the coolest man in history has done. So it's got to be celebrated. But that's the broadcasting game we're in, isn't it, guys? We all know that.
He didn't even try and fix it either. It was like, all right, I've gone down this path. I'm going with Forrell now. I've got to go with Forrell.
Plough ahead.
BJ, one of the great blokes, and he's been commentating for 20 odd years, and that's the first thing we go to, isn't it?
That's his legacy.
What do you make of the Australian lineup with the fact is that Cam Green, they're going to persist. They think it's a long-term move, him at 3, according to Pat Cummins. They're going to back that one in. Constance, which, there's been a confusion as to when he stormed onto the scene, where's he gone since? They finally dropped Labuschagne. They lose Smith. Inglis comes in as he's a keeper, but he's gone in as a batsman. There's a few little quirks in this, but I think it's refreshing. Do you think it's refreshing to see the names? And you've already touched on Bo Webster.
Yeah, I think it feels like after all the I was going to say something that's probably not appropriate at this time of morning on sports radio, but all the teasing of Sam Constas, we now get the chance to see him play Test cricket and get a run at it. It was a nice little taster that we had at Boxing Day. We got lured in again at Sydney in the Sydney Test match, and then he's been discarded, told that he's not up to the task at hand, either over in where they go, Sri Lanka, and then this World Test Championship. So now he gets a run at it, and now we find out whether he can play and do the job at the top of the order. Because let's be really honest, the Australians selectors, and I have no drama, it's their call. They're in a position of power to make these decisions, but they have tinkered with that opening position since David Warner left, and it's just been unsuccessful in everything that they've tried since matching a partner with Usman Khawaja. And now they get their opportunity to try and seed a new opener in readiness for Usman to finish up. And then there'll be another one come in, and hopefully there'll be a ready-made player ready to slot in there. But Cam Green at number 3, look, I personally am not sure on that long term. And it's not just saying, and that's not casting doubt about his batting ability, it's about his all-round capacity to contribute to the Australian cricket team, which fitness aside and the issues there, if he stays fit, I'm factoring this in the discussion, if he's 100% fit, which Hissy would say is probably not going to have an extended run of being fully fit, but he adds too much in other areas of the game with ball and catching and everything that goes into it. I think he'd probably be better suited longer term at 4 or 5. I mean, it's funny how that's changed, that opinion. They moved Steve Smith, and Steve Smith was keen to move, to say that our best lineups with Cam Green at number 4. So that's changed significantly, but yeah. So I'm not sure. I think Cam Green's in the 11 for sure. He's in the top order, but I don't see it at number 3.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you saying there, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that if he fails at 3, then you lose that bowling because he gets dropped, basically. He basically, if he fails at 3, then they're going to have to either turn the whole list over again and find a spot for him lower in the order, or they go, well, it's not working out, and you lose his catching, fielding, stroke bowling. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just think that his value, his all-round value to the team long term is such that I personally wouldn't have him at 3, and I think even maybe some little technical things that he'd be better suited with that little bit more protection down in the middle order, upper middle order, whatever you want to term it, 4, 5, 6. Not as low as 6, so it's 4 or 5 long term for mine. Yeah, I think that's spot on, Goss. I think he just brings so much value in other areas, but. Yeah, I'm not in and around the team. I don't know what their plans are. I don't know what he's back. He might be, we might not know about it. He might be ruled out of bowling for a year or so. Yeah. So they might see it as his development program to get him into a number 3. But I think his overall value is so very important longer term.
You mentioned the decks that you played on at Barbados that were just flat and they were good for scoring runs. So just back to Sam Constas, is this actually probably a good time to bring him in if it's more favourable to the batters? And is it similar across the whole West Indies, Gil, as far as those pitches are concerned?
Yeah, I think, I guess whether it's Constas or going back to Green, I suspect they may well have very decent series, and Greenie could very well knock out a few hundreds at number 3 in this series. I suppose I'm thinking back in Australia and a bit more challenging conditions and challenging pitches and the bowling lineup that may well be rolling out come our summer with the in the England squad. But no, the pitches, there's some really good ones over there, and there can be some really challenging ones too. They can dry out, they can be slow, they can be bereft of grass, and then other times they can be absolute roads and rolled out. So it's a bit of a lottery Scotty, particularly not sort of being there to see it. Even, as I say, Pat Cummins isn't 100% sure what this pitch is going to do, but my memories, as I say, in a test match there, we scored mountains. Now, this is a long time ago, but we scored a poultice of runs, and then we knocked the West Indies over and then made them follow on, and Brian Lara decided to dig in, and it was the longest 3.5 days in the field that I've ever had, maybe save for Calcutta in 2001. It was as tired and sore as I've ever been from wicket-keeping 2 consecutive innings. I said to Merv Hughes, he had a tour group over there, and we always try to help the old ex-players out by going and talking to their tour group after the day's play, like back in the hotel, and go and give them an insight, current players' insight as to what's going on in the game, a bit of a Q&A. And I was in the ice bath after day 3 of fielding 3 days in a row, and I was sitting there thinking, oh no, I agreed to do that for Merv later on tonight. All I wanted to do was go and lie on my bed and order room service and fall asleep. And I was in the ice bath going, oh, Jesus. And then Merv came, walked in, this hulking frame of Merv in the door frame, standing there looking at me. I thought, oh, beautiful, he's come to let me know not to worry about it. And he looked at me and goes, hey, I'm the last bloke you want to see, aren't I? You're coming? So he wanted to drag me out of the ice bath off to go and do a speaking gig, basically. So, anyway, that was my memories of wicket keeping in Barbados. It was a flat one, but who knows what we'll see tonight.
Cash is king, Gilly. Cash is king.
I was expecting Merv to bring the tour group to you to say, look, he's in the ice bath. He's completely starkers, but he'll give us his insights.
Hey, last one before we let you go. We're pressing to wrap things up, but just quickly, you're in the States. Just give us a 15-second synopsis on what that was like and why you were there.
Yeah, Major League Cricket. It's 3rd year, so it's like all the nations have cranked up their own T20 tournament. I wanted to go and see if it's real, what it's like, and I can promise you there's level of investment in the game. And I know just pumping money in doesn't make it right, but there's a huge amount of investment from the big companies, Microsoft, Adobe, all those companies are run now by expat Indians who love cricket, that they want to get it right. And it was really impressive. It was a nice tournament to be around. The infrastructure and governance has got a few little things to get through, but I think cricket's got a real shot in the States, and obviously 2028 Olympics, cricket's there.
All righty. Looking forward to it. Yeah, look good. I followed you on socials. And the last one for you, and we are genuinely out of time. Where are we at? When do we get a taste of tequila?
Seriously, mate. How do we promote something we haven't drunk yet?
Where is this stuff?
I've got samples here already, so come past this morning after you knock off. I can meet you up at the in inverted commas coffee shop if you like.
At the office.
Special coffees.
We're a couple of months away from being on shelf. That's fingers crossed where we'll be, and I'll do a proper announcement. I'll get on your show and tell everyone about it. It's what they want to hear as they eat their breakfast.
Starts tonight, 9:30. Splashing on the Wheaties. 9:30 tonight, Aired Barbados, first test, Australia and the West Indies. You'd hear it right here on SEN. Gilly, great to chat, mate. Take care, and thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Gil.
See you, lads. Have a good one.